Okay. I am pleased to present our presenter, Curt Anderson. Curt Anderson founded an e-commerce company in 1995 that was ranked 3 times on the Internet Retailer magazine, top 100 e-commerce companies. And since selling that company, Curt has served as an e-commerce consultant targeting manufacturers, including spending 4 years at the New York Small Business Development Center. Curt is the author of Stop Being the Best Kept Secret and founder of B2Btail.com, an e-commerce resource guide for manufacturers. So thank you so much, Curt, and I hand it over to you.
Absolutely. Well, Robin, thank you. Appreciate you. Happy Tuesday, everybody. And so, guys, we have a small, intimate crowd. I would love to have this interactive. So my goal is that any questions you have, we want to have a great time, have lots of fun today. But boy, if you have any questions, let's make this interactive. And I would love for you to feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable with e-commerce in the next 45 minutes, 60 minutes or so. So as Robin said, big shout out, happy Tuesday to Robin and the team at NWIRC. That is the Northwest Pennsylvania MEP. They're an absolute incredible team. They've partnered with IMC, Mantech, and of course, Catalyst Connection. And so if you're a manufacturer out there, you want to connect with your local MEP, these guys do a great job in the great state of Pennsylvania. So let's dig in, guys. So first off, thank you. I know everybody here is super busy. I think I know some of you. Edward's here, Carly, Lori, Kevin. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate you. So thank you for joining us today. And so let's keep this rolling, especially for our manufacturers out there that are making great made in USA products. Boy, we salute you. We appreciate you. Our manufacturers are the heroes of our economy. They do an amazing, amazing job. So, all right, pop quiz, guys. And again, I love to have this interactive. Marcia, I love calling on people. So what's the #1 complaint of B2B buyers? Does anybody know that answer? If you want to put it in the chat or if you want to take yourself off mute, the #1 complaint of B2B buyers. Who knows that answer? I'll give it to you. Not enough information on the website, man. That's, think about what is as a consumer or maybe in the B2B space, you go on somebody's website and you're like, man, I'm just not seeing enough information. Odds are, what is that buyer going to do? What do you do as buyers? We're going to go to another website. So I know we have like Kevin's with TAC, Lori's with IMC. As we're supporting our manufacturers, we want to really preach and encourage these folks. Boy, get that information on the website. And we're going to go through a bunch of examples that we're going to run through. So Gartner did a research report that came out in June of this year. 83% of B2B buyers say they prefer ordering online or doing business through digital. Man, is that powerful or what? COVID really completely changed the game. A lot of our manufacturers in the past are like, this e-commerce thing isn't for me. But whether it's a custom manufacturer or an OEM that does have that proprietary product, boy, it is absolutely critical to have that finished or to have an e-commerce presence. So what we want to talk about today is like KISS. And I know, guys, you're thinking like, Lori, you're thinking to yourself, hey, man, that's not a great word during COVID, right? But we want to keep it super simple. And with the tagline now is, how do we keep it super simple with digital self-serve? How do we help those ideal buyers, those clients make those buying decisions when we're just not around? How can we do business when we sleep? Hey, I see Stephanie joined us today. Stephanie, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. And Katerina, if I'm saying that correctly, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. So guys, what we want to do, anybody, if you guys know this guy, Mr. Einstein, right? We want to make our clients feel like a genius. How many times have you gone into a business or maybe you're at a restaurant and just, something's a little bit confusing. You're like, hey, I just don't quite get it, understand. We want to make that customer, that ideal client, feel like an Einstein where they just know exactly what's going on. We want to make it as easy as humanly possible to do business with you. Now, guys, my name's Curt Anderson. I'm in little tiny Lakewood, New York. I would love, and as a matter of fact, Stephanie used to live in Lakewood, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I would love to connect with you guys on LinkedIn. So if you were in, if this was in person, we'd all be handing out business cards. We'd be high-fiving. I encourage you, welcome you, drop your LinkedIn or drop your website in the chat box. connect with each other. It's a great opportunity. You've got 10 new best friends on the call, but there's 11 of us. You've got 11 new best friends here. So let's all exchange LinkedIn profiles, drop your website. It's a great opportunity for us to get to know each other. And I would love to connect with you as well. So, all right, who's ready? And everybody's camera's off. Man, what's going on here? Not one camera. All right, if you guys want to turn on your camera on, you'd make my day. But otherwise, Kevin, Mr. Handsome, should have your camera on. But who's ready?
I don't think cameras are available.
Oh, they're not available? Hey, Robin, can you throw cameras on? Or I'm hosting, right? Am I hosting?
Yes. We're both hosting. Let me see where I will do that.
Okay. Perfect. See if we can get these beautiful faces. But so, all right, who's ready to start crushing on e-commerce? Marcia, heck yeah, we are, right? Stephanie, Kevin, Evan, we are all ready to start crushing it on e-commerce. Let's make it happen. Because guys, you know what? Robin told me this is the advanced group. You have greatness within you. So let's get some e-commerce greatness. So guys, if you, I know some of you guys are tech and are with the MEPs, but if we have any manufacturers, if you have a website and you are interested in a website audit, Marcia, you've gone through our website audit thoroughly. That is a complimentary offer through the MEP network. If you are interested, you drop me a note and I would be honored to send that audit over to you. Okay. Manufacturing e-commerce success is going to be 3 components today. Marcia, you know these inside and out, but number 1, it's KISS. Man, another KISS during COVID. We're not supposed to be using that word, but it's KYS. This one's a little bit different than the last one. Number 2, how do you make a great first web impression? Number 3, how do we dominate search? We want to attack those search engines. We want to stop being the best kept secret. Let's take a look. Number 1, KYS is know your soulmate. Know your soulmate inside and out. Marcia, I'm going to be calling on you, my friend. Why is it so critical to know your soulmate?
So you can speak their language and speak directly to them.
Exactly. And when we try to be everything to everybody, what happens?
We're nothing to nobody.
We're nothing to no one, jack of all trades, master of none. What we encourage you, invite you, welcome you to think about, especially as for you entrepreneurs, we want to stay in our lane. I was just on a call with like an efficiency expert, and we were talking about how can you go like an inch wide, but a mile deep, right? The more that we can be that subject matter expert, the further we're going to go. So we're going to talk about niching down today, but more importantly, we want to understand that ideal buyer. We call them that soulmate. We want to know them inside and out. Marcia does a great job. She's with Louvers International in the great city of Chicago. They do LED lighting, and we've taken a super deep dive in understanding who is her ideal buyer. She has several, and we want to have the language on our website that speaks clearly and concisely to that soulmate. So for example, if I'm Kevin at Tech, he's targeting different manufacturers, trying to help them move the needle. If I'm Lori at the MEP network or Robin at the MEP, same thing. Great resources where they're trying to help those manufacturers. If you're a manufacturer, maybe your ideal buyer, your soulmate might be Purchasing Page. And Purchasing Page has all sorts of challenges, frustrations. All these entrepreneurs and manufacturers are going through supply chain challenges, labor shortages. So how can we make their life easier? Maybe your ideal buyer, maybe your soulmate is our friend Maintenance Murray. Okay. Now, these are a couple of soulmates that we've created for clients of ours. Maybe it's Engineering Chucky. Now, they're calling it what somebody called it yesterday. It's like the gray, what is it? All the baby boomers and the Gen Xers that are starting to retire. It's like, this big wave of retirement. Well, all that legacy information is retiring with these folks. And so maybe are we targeting Engineering Chucky, who's a millennial, or maybe we're still targeting Engineering Chucky, who's a senior and still on the job. So when we're targeting those, we want to get a better understanding of what demographic are they? Because if I'm targeting Chucky Jr., boy, it might be a totally different language and a totally different method of communicating with Junior as opposed to or compared to Senior. So it's absolutely critical that we understand our soulmate inside and out. Let's take a look at Engineering Chucky. So Chucky, in this example, some of the biggest concerns about Chucky, and think about your buyer, think about your soulmate, think about the challenges and frustrations that they're facing right this very minute, okay? Chucky's asking, is the quality really worth the huge price spike? Do you have long-term record of success? Are you US based? Can we see a sample? So again, like if these are common questions, if Chucky is always asking for a sample, maybe that's a frontline call to action on your website. Hey, need a free sample? Click right here. How can we make it as easy as humanly possible to do business with these folks? Okay, let's take it another step further. When we think about Chucky, this is what Chucky's going through. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but Chucky works with fellow engineers in purchasing to get the most cost-efficient part possible. However, the final call depends on the project. It could be me, could be somebody in purchasing, could be somebody in marketing. Maybe it's the owner, maybe it's the CEO, maybe it's the CFO, right? Hey, there's Kevin, right? Hey, good morning, Kevin. Okay. Now, another thing about Chucky, I love innovative solutions. I just don't know where to always to find them. I turn to Google. Boy, if we're not coming front and center on Google, we are the best kept secret. Is that right? Now, he might be going to trade shows. Now, thankfully, trade shows are now coming back live. I met Kevin back in September at a trade show, and we're finally getting back out. I was just out in Chicago visiting Marcia's company. I missed Marcia, but I was visiting Louvre's recently. So we're finally getting back out and visiting folks. But boy, for the past 2 years, Chucky has had to rely on Google. So that's why those Google results are so critical. Now, here's the interesting thing. He says, even though I'm tech savvy, I'm not big into social media. I do enjoy a network of professionals, suppliers. Now, whether it's through LinkedIn, now that's interesting. Chucky says, I'm not big into social media, but what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is absolutely social media. That's, boy, as a matter of fact, I have a LinkedIn program going on today, this afternoon. If you guys don't get enough of me now, you can come to our LinkedIn workshop. But okay, there's a tagline, win the engineer, close the sale. Win the engineer, you close a sale in manufacturing. Again, I want you, it's not, the program is all about you. So I want you thinking about like your ideal buyer, your soulmate, and what's the language that you want to have on your website that speaks clearly and concisely to win over, in this case, our dear friend, Chucky. Okay. Now, everybody has a favorite radio station on the planet, and happens to be this right here, WIIFM. What's in it for me? Okay. Now, pop quiz. Who am I going to call on? There's Marcia. Marcia, guy, you look great. Good to see you today. Happy Tuesday. Pop quiz. What is Marcia, I know you know this answer. What's every person's favorite word on the planet? What is every person's favorite word? Stephanie, Robin, Katerina, Stephanie, Edward, Carly, Lori. What's every person's favorite word on the planet? Kevin, and does anybody know that answer?
Me, you.
Your name, right? Thank you, Marcia. Everybody, it's music to our ears, right? Kevin, Stephanie, I've just mentioned all your names. It's music to our ears. People love to hear, there's Robin. Hey, Robin. People love to hear their name. It's music to their ears, right? So what we want to do on your website, you can't be there. So like, since you can't be there, who do we want to, Marcia, who do we want to make our website all about? Oh, you're on mute. Are you on mute?
Our soulmate. We want to make it about our soulmate.
Absolutely, guys.
Their needs.
We want to make it all about the soulmate. So instead of the with them, what's in it for me, let's think about what's in it for your soulmates. I call it the Wi-Fi's. Maybe you call it the Wi-Fi's, however you pronounce it, tomato, tomato. Let's make it all about your soulmates. So, okay, Marsha, I'm calling on you one more time. You know this famous phrase, guys. So, all right, Marcia, you know, there's this awful, dreaded disease. It's been like going around the world. It's like a pandemic. It's crazy. It's called the wee-wee syndrome. Can you tell everybody what is this awful, dreaded disease called the wee-wee syndrome?
When you talk about yourself on your website.
It's awful, isn't it? So what we want to think about is, you know, if you land on a manufacturer's website, what's very common, or maybe any business for that matter. And as a matter of fact, I should put it in my presentation, Marcia. I have a screenshot of my website from 2 years ago, and every line says, we do this, we do that, we. So in this case, a manufacturer might say, we are on time, we have top quality, we have wonderful expertise, we have amazing capabilities. Just ask us. We are the best. Now, Robin, all right, pop quiz. Who knows this movie? Does anybody recognize? We're in Western Pennsylvania today. Who knows this movie?
Well, if anybody doesn't want to answer, I can answer it.
Lay it on us.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. So now what was going on? Do you remember this scene right here, Robin? Do you remember what was going on right here? Are you on mute?
There we go. I do remember this. He's like he's talking to him. He remembers them.
They went to
Phil.
Yeah, it was Phil, exactly. So they went to high school together, and they hadn't seen each other since high school. Bill Murray, this actor here, if you're too young to know who this is a great actor for my generation. How's that? So Bill Murray is trying to get away from this guy. It's Ned Ryerson, and he's trying to sell him insurance, and he's just this annoying salesman. And so the thing is, if we have that wee syndrome, that's exactly what we're doing on our website. Is we've made it all about us. We're being the annoying sales rep. So if we were in person, or if you're at a chamber event, or an event through the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, or maybe something that TAC was putting on, and we were all networking together, and that one person comes up and all they're doing is talking about themselves, man, we just can't get away from them fast enough. Just like our dear friend Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day. If you haven't seen Groundhog's Day, go rent it tonight. You'll absolutely love it. So, okay. We want to make it all about them. Let's run through some examples. Let's talk about the buyer's journey. Okay. So again, I see some of my friends here. So if I'm Marcia at Louvers, I'm selling LED lighting, Robin and Lori and the folks at TAC or at the MEP network. And Stephanie, did I see that you just joined the MEP network, I believe. So congratulations to you. We have Kevin at TAC. So, again, think about that ideal buyer that you're targeting. So number one, we want to know that soulmate. Number two, how do we make a great first web impression? That's a little fun, catchy word there for you guys. How do you make a great first web impression? This is a wonderful manufacturer that we had the honor and privilege working with in the great state of Illinois. They take repurposed wood. They take reclaimed wood and they manufacture just these amazing, incredible products. The woman that owns the company, she bought the business from the previous owner, and she wanted to freshen up the website. Her soulmate, her ideal buyer, I absolutely love this. They called them the Real Housewives of Springfield, Illinois. That's who they were targeting to. That's the song that they were trying to sing. Speaking of singing, Marcia has a great singing voice, but Marcia, we'll save that for later. But they were singing to the Housewives of Springfield, Illinois. And so when we created this website, we want to just really resonate with their ideal buyer, with that soulmate. So you see right here, like custom design, reclaimed furniture here, right? Then you come to this screen here, like this is some of the work that they did. I come here, like, look how cool this is. They make these amazing products for these American flags out of reclaimed wood. It's absolutely fantastic. And here they are again. And what they've done is it's part of a veterans association out in Springfield. So what she's done, and the owner's name is Amanda, she's done an incredible job. She went full-blown e-commerce. They do some custom work, but she has a full line of proprietary products, and she wanted to speak to her soulmate. She understands her soulmate. Her soulmate comes into her business. She knows that soulmate intimately, and she wanted the website to really speak that to that ideal buyer. So again, through e-commerce, what she did is she was able to make it as easy as possible to do business with her, just like you guys are going to, because you all have greatness within you. Let's take it another step further. Here's another great manufacturer. They are in the wonderful city of Chicago. Now they're a custom manufacturer. So again, our friends at the MEP network, Kevin at TAC, we're working with a lot of custom manufacturers, and they're like, hey, wait a minute. I feel left out of the e-commerce party, but you know what? A request for quote is still e-commerce. A phone call is still e-commerce. So what we did is we wanted to get a clear, concise understanding of their ideal buyer. And boy, this is, if you love walking into manufacturers, man, I got a tour of Marcia's place last month. I love taking tours of manufacturers. Boy, if I could do that every day for a living, that'd make my day, Marcia. So when you take a look at this, what they're doing is they're inviting their soulmate into their facility. Now, here's another way to look at it. If you look at these pictures and like whatever product you're an engineer at Ford or Boeing or whatever industry you're in, and you look at these pictures, you're like, wow, that's not the right piece of machinery, or maybe this place isn't a good fit. Well, you're still doing yourself a favor because now you didn't get a bad lead or you didn't get a bad phone call. So again, the more that you put yourself out there, and what they did a great job here, learn more how we can provide custom screws and fasteners within your budget. Here's a clear call to action. They are super aggressive on LinkedIn. They've got their social buttons down here at the bottom. Nice, clean, concise website. And I'll tell you, these guys are doing a great job. Let's go through one more quick example. This is a gentleman. He's also in, boy, a lot of Illinois here, Marcia, just for you. This gentleman is out in Illinois as well. He's invented a new product. He actually works at a college, and on a side gig, he's manufactured and created this new product, and it's related to camping. Okay. The Super Hut. Now, nice, clear call to action. Get yours now. Think about the product, the service, the solution, your superpower, what you bring to the market. What should your call to action be? Okay. Get yours now. That's what they're using. Who's their soulmate? Here they are right now, man. Here's this family. Look at their smiles. They are ecstatic. What a great memory for a family of four to be out camping. This is their soulmate. So when we dug in and worked on the website for this gentleman, that's exactly who we're speaking to. Look at that. Look at those feet, man. Can't you just picture yourself kicking back, looking out the window or looking out the door of your tent, seeing the mountains and the fresh air, especially for those of us in cold weather, right? You look down here, all these tents and the mountains. The call to action here, we've got client testimonials. Boy, get those client testimonials on your website. Marcia, I've got a nice video of you and the team at Marcia's on my website. It's like, how do we create that social proof? I hear that phrase all the time, social proof. I was on a podcast recently, and I want to take it one step further. I love the phrase social trust. Let's take that social proof one step further. How do you create social trust? When you think about that ideal buyer, it could be something as little as like, hey, something for our kids, maybe something for a restaurant we want to go to. We want to take friends out to celebrate. Well, we can't, who wants to pick the bad restaurant, right? Nobody wants that responsibility. So you're going to turn to Yelp, or you're going to turn to a review site, or when you go to a hotel, odds are, you're going to spend a lot of time like, hey, what do the reviews look like, man? If there's bugs in a bed, let's not stay there, right? But if you're getting raving reviews, odds are you're going to feel more comfortable staying there. Let's get those reviews. And what these guys have done, they have their FAQs, frequently asked questions. Let's help that ideal buyer. Let's help your soulmate make that buying decision. Let's help make it easy for them to make that buying decision. We see their social buttons down here. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now, again, what's important is what social media platforms your ideal buyer, your soulmate is hanging out at. That's where we want to get those. Okay. Lastly, mobile. Boy, what is it? 50-60% of all search now is done on mobile. And this is something that's super common. I encourage you, invite you, welcome you. If you want to do it right now, wait till the program's done. Take a look at your website on mobile. I do it all the time. And sure enough, I'll find a little glitch. I'll find a little hiccup. Kevin, our MEP folks, when you're talking to your manufacturers, before you walk in the door to visit those guys, take a look on their mobile device, because odds are they're not looking at it. And if you catch something, just drop them a note. Hey guys, I just want to let you know I was on your mobile site and there's a hiccup. Maybe the video's not showing, the phone number's not showing, or it's not responsive, right? So we want to make sure that we take a look at your website on a consistent basis on mobile. Okay, I'm going to pause right there. Do we have any questions, any comments? We just finished. How do you make that great first web impression? Any questions so far? Everybody doing good? Are we having fun? There's Stephanie.
I'm just going to make a comment, Curt.
Lay it on me.
The part about company websites and talking about themselves, because we look at websites all the time, obviously. Oh my gosh, 98% of them, they're talking about themselves.
It's almost like we need to and I hate to, and I do this for a living, and I'm not pointing the finger because I totally was doing it myself. It's very easy. It's natural. Hey, we're trying to make a living. We're trying to be salesy. And, if we've all encountered that salesperson, and maybe each of us have been that annoying salesperson at some point in time, or whatever, whether it's with our kids or we're trying to sell something to our spouse, right? Hey, honey, let's go do such and such. And they don't want to hear it. Right. So, but I heard this fantastic line, Kevin, maybe you'll get a kick out of it. In sales, they call it commission breath. So like the annoying salesperson that comes up to you and you can just smell their commission breath coming at you a mile away where they're trying to sell something to you. I think that's hysterical. So what we want to do is like, boy, let's not have a website that has commission breath. I think that's funny. So, all right, Kevin, thank you for that comment. I love your background, by the way. It looks absolutely beautiful. And hey, there's Stephanie today. Good morning, Stephanie. Any other questions, comments so far? We have a lot more to dig into. And if not, I'm going to keep rolling. Okay, we're looking good. All right, let's talk about, all right, who pop quiz? Who knows this person? What movie is this from? Robin? Who knows this answer?
Well, Frozen.
Frozen, right? Which not a good day. You know, it's a beautiful day here where we're at. You know, it's a beautiful fall day. I got to be the bad guy. I'm like, I got to talk about Frozen because we know what's ahead of us in a few months here, right? Or a few weeks maybe.
It's coming, I'm sure.
It's coming. But hey, we're rugged folks. We can handle it, right? So, all right. So this is Elsa from Frozen. Anybody has a daughter knows this. As a matter of fact, at the end, Robin, we might do a little sing along on Let It Go. I'm just teasing. Everybody would leave, right? So this is a soulmate of a little case study that I'm going to run through. This is Engineering Elsa. And this was our soulmate at this manufacturer. And we're going to take a walk through the park here. Let's take a look. Okay, so keep in mind, Engineering Elsa. Engineering Elsa works at Boeing. And Engineering Elsa walked into work this morning and her supervisor, somebody of the food chain said, hey, Elsa, you have 30 things that you need to purchase today. Ready, go. And Elsa's thinking, oh my goodness gracious, how on earth am I going to buy 30 things today? I have a soccer game that I have to get to after work. And how am I going to make this? And how am I going to make this happen? So let's go through, we're putting ourselves in our soulmate shoes. Let's go through that process. So she does a search, and I'm going to talk, when we get into our dominate search, which is next, I'm going to talk about how we want to make it as easy as humanly possible for Engineering Elsa to find us. How can we stop being the best kept secret? Okay. So when Engineering Elsa lands on this page, she's looking for this little goofy item. It's called a ground strap. A ground strap is a ubiquitous item. It's everything that draws a current, every electrical product on the planet, the computer you're looking at, your phone, everything needs to be grounded. Otherwise, man, you're going to end up looking like me. You're going to get shocked and it's not going to be good, Robin. I'm just teasing. So when Engineering Elsa lands on this web page, let's take a look at what she sees. Receive an instant ground strap quote. That's her key. That's our keyword right there. Receive an instant ground strap quote. Build your own custom ground strap. So now has the ability, the opportunity to build something that she can't find anywhere else. She can't find it in China. She can't find it anywhere else. This is going to be a custom item that she can create. No RFQ wait time, takes 60 seconds or less. Are you kidding me, Kevin? How many times have we had to wait hours, days, or even weeks for somebody to turn around a quote? We're telling Engineering Elsa, I know that you've got 30 other things that you need to buy today. I know that you have a soccer game to get to by 5 o'clock. We have your back. This is just going to take literally 60 seconds. Let's rock and roll, make it happen. Buy manufacturer direct, made in USA since 1985. If there's any confusion, here's a little video to help you on your journey, Elsa. So you don't need to call us. You don't need to email us. Get a quote fast. Get a quote fast. Now, we've never used the word we. We're not talking about I. It's all about Engineering Elsa. Does this work? Absolutely. So what Engineering Elsa receives is this little customized product. She gets a technical drawing. Here's the menu of the product that she just created. And guys, check this out, man. This particular order came from SpaceX. Do you think so this company is called Falconer Electronics. They are about 35, 40 employees, founded in 1985. Same owner founded it 37 years ago, still owns it today. Phenomenal guy, man of integrity, made in USA products. You think he wants an order from SpaceX? Absolutely. How about when Ford knocks on the door and says, hey, we're looking to get a quote for 2 different products. We need 90 to 100,000 SKUs. Ford, would we like to fill 90 or 100,000 SKUs? We would be honored to fill 90,000 to 100,000 SKUs. So again, what we've done is we've made it as easy as humanly possible for a company like SpaceX or Ford to knock on little tiny Falconer Electronics door to try to do business with. So by making it easy as possible for Engineering Elsa to buy from Falconer Electronics, Falconer Electronics has had the honor of Johnson & Johnson, Amazon Robotics, Pratt & Whitney, Ford, Halliburton, Boeing, are just a Lockheed Martin. The list goes on. It's been mind-blowing for the small little tiny manufacturer of some of the folks that have knocked on their door to find these little products. So here's a take note, the takeaway for any of you kids taking notes at home. How can we help that ideal buyer, that soulmate, make a buying decision on a Friday night without having to wait for us to open up our doors on a Monday morning? Okay. How can we help that ideal buyer make a buying decision on a Friday night without having to wait for us to open up our door on a Monday morning? We want to make it as easy as humanly possible to do business with us, right? Let's remove any of those speed bumps, remove that friction. Let's take it a step further. And again, this program is all about you, not about our friends at Falconer Electronics. So I want you to think about like your superpowers, your skills, your talents, your services, your products, whatever you're delivering to the market, and how could we get that on your website and execute that? Okay. Now we're going to talk about keywords and search, but again, this is how we want to speak that great, how do we want to speak to our ideal buyer? How do you speak clearly to that soulmate? Plus, this is helping us with the search engines. So Google's going to grab us. So we are not the best kept secret. So when engineering also lands on this page, let's say it's somebody in buying, somebody up in purchasing. I showed you purchasing page earlier. Let's say like she's not really geeky, technical. She doesn't need to know all the ins and outs, but she just needs she needs the price and she needs to know the description of the product. Well, this page here might speak clearly to that soulmate to purchasing page. Okay. Now, when I come to this page, these are the specs. Well, maybe now that engineering Ernie, engineering also, they're going to get, they need to get more technical. Maybe they're creating a prototype or whatever it might look like. Well, now we're going to geek out and get much more technical, but we're also loading up our keywords, which we're going to talk about in a minute, on this web page. Now, another thing to help engineering Elsa or purchasing page to make that buying decision, we put in product videos. We put in a product video on every single product. Again, how do we eliminate any of that confusion? Let's not take anything for granted. So many things. There's an awesome video of, think about this. You get up in the morning, you do your morning routine. If somebody came down on our planet and you had to describe to them how you brush your teeth, Robin, could you take us on a step-by-step exact process of somebody had never touched a tube of toothpaste, they didn't even know what teeth were. Could you explain to them how to brush your teeth? Might be a little bit challenging, right? Because we just do it automatically, right? What do you think?
Yes, it would be, especially if you're not familiar with the equipment.
Especially if you're not familiar with equipment. So there's a great video. I mentioned this at a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said that they put in the chat box, there's a great video of somebody explaining how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Same thing. I have a woman that I do workshops with. Her description was like your commute to work. Like if you had to walk somebody step by step, key in the ignition, or maybe you have a key fob, and how you start your car, and how you know, like half the time, if you guys, if you're not working from home, if you're commuting, we probably like just show up at work. We're like, man, I don't remember how I got here, right? So the thing is, my point is, things that we take for granted that we just automatically know inside and out, odds are our soulmates don't know those things inside and out. Here in this case, engineering Elsa, she probably knows her product. Maybe maybe it's a finished good, it's an OEM or whatever that part is that she's making. She might know that part inside and out, but she doesn't know a ground strap in and out. So we want to eliminate, reduce, minimize any assumptions. Let's make it as easy as possible. Guy gave me a line the other day. He said, it's dumb not to dumb things down for our soulmates. It's dumb not to dumb things down. So again, let's make it as easy as humanly possible. That's why I love video. Love video. In this case here, we have the product. We actually put out like a little yardstick so they can see exactly what the measurement is of that particular product. Okay. Now, if you're posting videos on your website, I encourage you, invite you, welcome you to think about using Vimeo. Now, I know if Google is out there and listening to me, they're like, I don't want to get in the bad graces of Google for goodness sake, right, Robin? So if Google's out there, they own YouTube and they're like, hey, wait a minute, Curt, why are you promoting Vimeo? I like Vimeo because I don't know about you guys. I have shiny object syndrome problem. You go on somebody's website, a business website, you watch a video, at the end of the video, all of a sudden, like all these other videos pop up. Then next thing you know, like you're in a rabbit hole, 5 videos later, you're like, hey, what was I looking at in the first place? If you use Vimeo, Vimeo doesn't allow those ads. And so I love using Vimeo on your website. If you go on B2B Tail, that's all I use are Vimeo because I want to keep people on my website. That's great for SEO. Another thing, if you are attacking videos, if you're active on YouTube or do you see down here, I have like a full-blown description of the product, and I'm using the keyword over and over, ground straps, ground straps, ground straps. And then I have these links going to product pages to Falconer Electronics website. I just picked up a brand new client in Chicago yesterday. I was going through their videos, exact same thing. They weren't putting those product descriptions in the video, nor did they have links going back to their website. If you guys, it's just a missed opportunity. I encourage you guys to take advantage of product descriptions with your keywords in your videos and links back to your website. Okay. Social proof. We talked about social proof, social trust. What this company does, they sell their product on Amazon. A lot of you out there, or maybe Kevin, Robin, you guys are targeting Stephanie, you guys are working with manufacturers. Lori, if you have folks that are OEMs and they are selling finished goods, man, encourage them, get the reviews. What we've done is we're putting our Amazon reviews on our website. Now you might say to yourself, hey, wait a minute, if they're selling the product on the website, why do we want them to go to Amazon? I don't care where they go to buy. Maybe they have to buy on Amazon. Maybe they have their credit cards already set up and they don't know who Falconer Electronics is, but they certainly trust Amazon. I don't care where they buy our finished product from. I just want them to buy our finished product. So whether it's Amazon, whether it's on Zorro or DigiKey or a marketplace, I won't go deep into marketplaces today, but I just want, as a manufacturer, I just want those soulmates buying our product. And another thing, getting those reviews. Look at this, all these 5-star reviews. We've got Amazon's choice. It's just great when Amazon gives you the badge of honor saying, hey, this is a great product. And now, once again, we're building that social trust. Okay. I'm going to take another pause. Any questions whatsoever there? How are we feeling? Everybody doing good? Do we need to do jumping jacks, Stephanie? Should we do like 10 jumping jacks just for a break? Ready? All right, 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, just kidding. All right. Let's talk about any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question about customizing a online web shop. I work with a lot of manufacturers that have a very customizable product. So when I've gone to advise them on trying to do something like this, their whole thing is, well, it's going to cost too much money, or it's too difficult because there's too many customizations. Do you have any words of wisdom on that? I
love that question. So that's exactly that's, you know what, Evan, that's my soulmate right there. So like, so many of the custom manufacturers, they feel left out of the e-commerce party, if you will. And so I'll take you here. Okay. When you talk to that manufacturer, odds are they don't have a proprietary product, but you know what they have? They have a proprietary process. Okay. I bend metal, I cut steel, I fabricate something, I 3D print something, I make circuit boards, whatever, wire assemblies. They have a proprietary process. Now, the challenge is they are widget experts, they're operational excellence, but they're, and God bless them. And again, this is what we do. That's not what they do. I could never make the products that they do. That's why I'm on my side of the computer today, right? So the challenge is they're not marketers. So like when you talk to them, they're like, hey, I bend metal for anybody. I could cut steel, I can cut wood, I can do it for anyone. But when you talk to them, odds are most of our custom manufacturers typically have like maybe 5 or 10 customers tops. And typically 2 of them might represent like 66% of their sales. And when you talk to them, they're going to describe like, hey, this is, when you talk to them long enough, also they'll say like, well, actually we bend metal for turbine engines on Boeing 747s, right? Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden, now they've gotten really specific. And when they get specific, that's your e-commerce opportunity. And you and I could talk further offline if you want to, take this further. I want to bog down everybody else, but I geek out on this hard. Yeah. If you take a custom manufacturer, typically, and I would encourage you this, and maybe Kevin, this is relevant for you, maybe Lori for you. If you ask them, what 20% is driving 80% of your sales? Typically, every business has that 20-80 rule, right? So what 20% of your product is driving 80% of your sales and profit? That's where you start with that customizable opportunity. And then Evan, the last piece is what we did, that example I just showed you with Falconer Electronics. We have another unit that we call the estimator. So we've created, so with that ground strap thing, we can get a hard quote down to the penny. For wire assemblies, there's just literally an infinite number of configurations. So what we did is we created an estimator. It's not a hard quote, but if an engineer is trying to create a prototype, it would at least give them an idea of like, hey, is this thing going to cost me $5 or $1,000? Like, I just have no idea. So anyway, so that's my diatribe. Did that help?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. I appreciate it.
Perfect. And again, as you can tell, I get very passionate about this. I would love, if you want to geek out further, or if you have some specific examples, we can talk offline, and I would be honored to talk about that.
Yeah,
Can
that'd be fantastic.
Can I throw something else in here?
Please.
Yeah. I was at a manufacturer recently. They're not a client yet, but they actually developed a system to facilitate their own production. It had to do with, they do a lot of welding. Okay. And they ended up developing, they would probably call it, they don't call it a weld table, but that's what I would call it. But they developed a reconfigurable weld table for their own manufacturing process. Okay.
Nice.
And then somewhere they got the idea about, well, wait a minute, there's a lot of other people out there who are welding who might have an interest in this product.
Yeah.
And this product is becoming so serious for them now that they're looking at abandoning some of the original products the business was founded on.
Yeah.
So there's a case where they did something for themselves. And you know, I haven't thought yet about going into manufacturers and say, hey, have you guys ever done anything? Or that looks kind of unique over there. What's that? Oh, yeah, we do that when we assemble these kinds of products. Did you ever think somebody else might want to buy that product? So just, I don't know if that relates to your issue, Evan, or your question, but.
Totally. And again, for the MEPs on the call, you know, if you know, and Kevin's with Great Lakes Tac, if you find yourself in that situation, that's exactly it, Kevin, is like, it's with Evan, what you're describing. How can we take that proprietary process and convert it into a proprietary, you know, you have a proprietary process. Is there an opportunity to convert it into a proprietary product? Whether, you know, like this table that you're describing, or Evan, maybe like that 80-20 rule that I'm describing, you know, because the thing is, a lot of times if they make a screw, a part, a nut, you know, whatever that part is, there's nothing proprietary, like they're not violating anything. But like in Kevin, in your case with e-commerce, there's no greater means to like kick the tires, test the market. If they're a custom manufacturer, you know, or whatever that they've done, their legacy product as you're describing, and they have an opportunity to create a new product line, it's so low cost to throw something up on a web page, start marketing it, and let's just see if anybody else wants her. That's exactly what Falconer Electronics did, and it's completely converted their entire business. So those are two phenomenal examples. And again, you know, if I would love to talk with those folks, if there's opportunities, these are great examples. And again, this is how we keep, you know, we're just everybody on the call here is just very passionate about US manufacturing. This is why I get so fired up about it. This is like, man, guys, this is like our cause. This is like patriotism. Like, we're helping our manufacturers being more competitive here. So like, you know, we just found out how vulnerable we've been for the past 2 years. E-commerce, you know, we've struggled with, like, you know, I don't mean to go on my diatribe here, Robin, but, you know, we've struggled with like cheap labor countries and, you know, competitive disadvantages. E-commerce, I'm so passionate about e-commerce. We can create competitive advantages for our manufacturers just by being technologically savvy and getting direct to the consumer, getting direct to the end user, or just making their life easier. That's why I'm just so passionate about this. So anyway, great example, guys. I'll get back on the program. I'll get off my soapbox here. So, all right, let's talk about dominate search. We've talked about know your soulmate. We've talked about how do you make that great first web impression. I started touching a little bit about, okay, these are the steps that you need to do to help you to attack those search engines, right? We don't want to be the best kept secret. How do we dominate search? Marcia, you still out there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Awesome,
My eyes are
Marcia.
weird, so I turned off my computer.
No worries, Marcia. Hey, God bless Marcia. Hey, let's give a little positive thought to Marcia. Marcia just went through some terrible surgery. So Marcia, I am just so honored and blessed that you're here today. We are wishing you great 100% recovery here. So, you know, Marcia, there's this word called RICS, R-I-K-S. What on earth do RICS have to do with dominating search? Can you enlighten everybody here?
They are your ridiculously important keywords.
Your ridiculously important keywords. So Evan, this ties in exactly, again, when you're talking to that custom manufacturer and they're like, you know, hey, I bend metal, I cut steel, I'm a CNC shop. And they're like, you know, hey, I want to come up on first page rankings for Google for CNC shop. I'm like, uh-oh. guys, I'm like, you got a better chance of seeing me with hair, man. It's not going to happen. Like, it's basically an impossibility. But when we say CNC shop for turbine engines and 747s, or I cut metal for a specific part in a car, or, I have a client that does like tie rods, or, whatever that keyword is, we want to focus on what are those important keywords. Okay. So again, I'm going to come back to my little company, Falconer Electronics. When you do a search for ground straps, I'm constantly battling with like Amazon and some major players, but you do a search for ground straps, check this out. They had the #1 position on Google. #1 position. Now, a lot of manufacturers, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I'm saying over the shoulder of a manufacturer, they're constantly going to images. If they're looking for a part, they're like, man, I can't remember. What is that part? They want to see what it looks like. So like, it's so important that if whatever your part is, and we could geek out another time, but it's like, you want to get your keywords on your images on your website. Now for Falconer Electronics, their #1 most popular size is the 8-inch ground strap. And again, it's not about them. It's all about you. Think about your #1 product, your top proprietary process, or your top service, whatever it might be. But for Falconer Electronics, see all these arrows? All these arrows are going to either their website or marketplaces. So again, we want to attack the search engines for those ridiculously important keywords. I have an SEO workshop that we do. Maybe NWIRC will have me back. We'll geek out on my SEO program. And again, here's more images, but let's get underneath the SEO hood and take a look. How do you capture some of these first page rankings? Okay. Now I ran through the importance of like the description, the specs, video, why that's so important, that social proof, social trust. But let's take a look at this page. Now, so Marsha at Louvers International, she's on WordPress. I personally use WordPress for my website. Falconer Electronics is on WordPress. You don't have to be on WordPress, but WordPress is phenomenal. I think 37% of all websites around the country are on WordPress. One of my favorite words about WordPress, it's free. I hate having clients spend money. I'm a cheap person myself. So WordPress is absolutely fantastic. It is ubiquitous. I've had clients who are like, all of a sudden, like their web designer vanished. Maybe they hit the lotto and moved to Hawaii or whatever the case might be. And you're like, man, I'm on this platform and now I don't know what to do. Well, if you're on WordPress, boy, you couldn't throw a baseball without hitting somebody that knows how to do WordPress. And so you could find a designer. It lends a lot of opportunity for you by using WordPress. Now, what you notice here is our keyword is ground straps. Take a look, ground straps, braided ground straps, ground straps, ground straps. I'm using it over and over on this web page to tell Google, hey, Google, this is what this web page is about, okay? Now, I want to talk to you about if you are using WordPress, and again, I won't go too deep because this is not an SEO workshop, but it's almost impossible to do e-commerce or to have a website without talking SEO. I have a client that I'm working with through the Purdue University MEP in Indiana. Brand new website. They just spent a ton of money on the website. The web designer has done no, I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus. They've done no SEO, and nor are they helping the client with SEO. So the thing is, if you put out a website and your web designer is not talking to you about SEO, I hate to tell you, you are the best kept secret. It's buying a treadmill or a gym membership. And just, if I have a treadmill and it's sitting in a corner with clothes on it, and I'm complaining to my wife, like, hey man, we need to return that treadmill. I'm not seeing any results whatsoever. And my wife looks at me and says, hey dude, maybe you need to get on it and run a little bit, get the clothes off of it. That's a perfect example for your website. If you're not doing anything with your website, and unfortunately, a lot of manufacturers don't realize that, like, hey, we just put up a brand new website. When are the leads going to start pouring in? Well, when you put on the website, it's buying that treadmill, man, we've got to get on that treadmill. So this is called SEO Yoast. SEO Yoast is a tool in whatever platform you're on. Typically, if you're on Wix, if you're on Shopify, if you're on BigCommerce, if you're on whatever platform you're on, typically will have an SEO tool for you to optimize your web page. Curt, what on earth does optimize mean? Optimize is simply you're making it Google friendly. If you don't tell that web page, if you don't identify or designate a keyword for that web page, Google has no idea what that web page is about, nor are they going to just randomly just grab that web page for you. Okay, let's jump ahead. We're starting to run out of time. Okay. One thing that I've discovered, and I can show you a couple examples, is if you, whatever your area of expertise, whatever, again, if you're a manufacturer, whatever your product, your widget, if you guys are service providers, you're helping manufacturers, Google loves to answer questions. Google loves to answer questions. So, hey, Google, what's the best restaurant near me, right? What's the best? I think, Lori, are you out near Williamsport? If we're going to go to like the Little League World Series, you know, what's the best hotel to stay at in Williamsport? If we're going to go to wherever, we're going to go to Philadelphia and get cheesesteaks, what's the best place to get a cheesesteak? Okay. We're constantly asking Google questions. Think about what your soulmate is asking of you. What's the problem that they have? What's the challenge that they're facing right this minute? And how can we answer that? Okay. How did Falconer Electronics get first page rankings? And we're going against like Amazon. We're going against McMastercard, Grainger. We're going against multi-billion-dollar companies. And little tiny Falconer Electronics has been coming up first page on Google, because what we did is we created this thing called the ground strap. Here's our keyword, ground straps, the official ground strap resource guide. Okay. The official ground strap resource guide. And what we've done is we've just tried to think of like every question that engineering also would have about this little goofy ground strap. And we try to answer it, and we try to answer it with a video. We answer it with technical drawings, anything that she would possibly ask about a ground strap, we wanted to answer. And so therefore it's like, hey, this is a website of trust. This is a website that's showing expertise on this subject. Therefore, we'll put you on first page rankings of Google. Marcia, I'm calling you out again. We're going to talk about killer pillar posts. Can you describe this? This is called a hub and spoke. Can you describe this to everybody real quick? Is she still there, or did she have to leave us? Oh, she left us. Did she leave us? Okay. Marcia had to cut out. So, all right. Marcia is an LED manufacturer. Okay. Say if you guys want to create some content that speaks to your ideal buyer, like Kevin helps manufacturers in the Great Lake region, Robin, Lori, Stephanie, you guys are helping manufacturers in Pennsylvania. You know, think about those subjects, those topics that a manufacturer is asking, you know, like, hey, what are best practices for lean? How do I get a 9001 certification? How do I improve my supply chain challenges? How do I improve workforce development? How about leadership? How about diversity, right? All these are potential topics that manufacturers are just, boy, really challenged with through COVID, okay? Now, Marcia, what she did is she's manufacturing a thing called, it's a UVC air purifier, and it's a panel light fixture. So what we did is we took this as the main subject, and then we had subtopics around that main subject. So what are things that her soulmate would ask? How does a UVC air purifier work? Where can a UVC air purifier panel lights be used safely? How are UVC air purifier panel lights better than HEPA filtration systems? So again, not about her, not about, UVC air purifiers, but I just want you guys thinking about your process, your product, your superpowers, and how could you put out content, and how could you help answer questions that your soulmate has? Let's see, how are we doing on time, Robin? Okay, I'm going to wrap up. So real quick, what Marcia did is she created this amazing, incredible blog post based around that topic. And if she was on, I was going to have her walk through the process, but she's not here. So what I'm going to do is let's wind down, because we covered a ton and we just have 5 minutes left. I want to leave a couple minutes for questions. So guys, again, the takeaway is number one, I fired a lot at you. I'm sorry about that. Make your ideal buyer feel like this guy, make them feel like a genius, really make it as simple as humanly possible, right? Let's all be committed. Let's be accountability partners to each other. Let's not have the wee-wee syndrome. Let's get rid of those barriers, those road bumps, those speed bumps on our websites. How can we make it as easy as possible? For you guys that need to wrap up, I want to thank you. Dan, I didn't give a shout out to you. Thank you for joining us today. First off, reach out to your MEP. Boy, they are absolutely amazing. They are incredible. I want to thank NWIRC. Robin, if you want to give a wave, her amazing team do an incredible job helping manufacturers. Lori's on the call. I think Stephanie, you're with IMC now. Do I have that correct? congratulations to you. We've got Mantech, we've got Catalyst Connection, which covers Pittsburgh area. So guys, if you're coming outside of PA, reach out to your local MEP. Boy, they are just a powerhouse of information and resources to help manufacturers move the needle. Lastly, as I mentioned, beginning of the program, I have a complimentary website audit for you guys. So Dan or anybody else, Edward, I think you and I've connected in the past through IMEC. If any of you guys want a complimentary website audit, we're not selling a thing. This is thanks to and through our friends at the MEP network. I'd be more than happy to get that over to you. And it's just great. It's a nice tool. It just kind of diagnoses where your website's at. What are some challenges? What are opportunities for improvement? And drop me a note. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Drop me a note on email. And so with that, I'm going to pause and ask if there's any questions.
No question, Curt. Just a huge thanks for this. And I would like to connect after this at some point to talk a little bit more in depth on how I could maybe convince more customers to go the custom e-commerce site route.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to, Evan. So again, I got my email right there. And let's see, let's see. Can I go into for some reason, the chat box isn't coming up. I was going to drop my,
I can go ahead and put your information in the chat box.
Oh, you know what? Here's I don't know, man. So I've got a LinkedIn program. I'll tell you what, guys, for some reason my chat's not working on here. If I do a lot of LinkedIn workshops. I have a woman from LinkedIn. She actually works for LinkedIn. She's like a global product development person. And I know like you guys are like, hey, I can't do another webinar with you today, Curt. But at 1:30 today Eastern time, I have a woman, her name's Vicki Lyons from LinkedIn. So if you want to step up your LinkedIn game, there's the link right there. But for some reason, the chat box isn't working. Drop me an email. If you guys want to attend, I'd be more than happy to have you there. She's going to like go super heavy on helping folks with LinkedIn. But Evan, I'd be more than happy to connect with you and, we can take a conversation further. Any other questions of what I covered? I knew I threw a lot at you. I should have scaled back, but Dan, any questions on your end? Or Stephanie, either we got two Stephanies, Stephanie E and Stephanie D. How's that?
Yes.
Stephanie, any questions on your end?
I do not believe so. Thank you for the details. It will be gratefully helpful with our website for sure.
Awesome. And what is your business or what's your website?
We are World Marketing or Comfort Home Products. We sell heaters.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Drop me again. If there's anything we can do through the MEP network, let us know. And again, guys, anybody that reaches out to me, what I'll do is whatever area you are in Pennsylvania, I will pull in somebody from your local MEP. Let's get a conversation going with them to see how they can help you. And yeah, so Stephanie, if you want to drop me a note, I'd be happy to help you. Or if you're looking for a website audit, be happy to send that over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Curt, if we send you a quick email, can we get I'm assuming this presentation this afternoon will be recorded because I can't attend. Can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yep.
Okay.
You're talking about the LinkedIn?
Yeah, the LinkedIn one. And the other thing I'll just mention, and I know you know this, Curt, you're trying to hook up with my client right now. So I have a smaller machine shop type operation over in Indiana that I think Curt's going to be talking to. And I was talking to this client about e-commerce. And again, I know when I first talked to Curt, I said, I don't know how this stuff applies to manufacturers. And he's making a convert in me pretty quick. My client is all excited about talking to Curt because it got my client really thinking about some of the things they've done for customers and suddenly realizing they may have always had marketable products. They just never looked at them that way. Mm-hmm. So it'll be very interesting to see how that conversation goes, Curt, as you get, talking to that client. But again, just planting the seed with the client, letting them think about it. This client just immediately started thinking, oh my gosh, I could probably sell this, this, and this. He had no clue.
Absolutely. And, okay. So I did get into the chat box. Let's see. Who did I send it to?
I can see your information and I threw your email in there too.
Okay. Let me send this over. So two things. So all right. I don't know where the chat box was through the whole meeting. So guys, I dropped my LinkedIn profile in there. I'd love to connect with you guys. And again, if anybody wants to learn a little bit or wants to work on their LinkedIn profile, it's a Zoom invite. Again, no cost. No, nobody's selling you anything. We're just going to kind of geek out and just go deeper on LinkedIn. If you want to join us again, it's like an hour and a half from now. But any other, and I don't need to run any other questions. Be happy to cover anything that anybody else has. Lori, Dan, Stephanie, Evan, any other questions that you want to cover? Anything that you want me to go back on that maybe I ran through too quickly?
Good here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you for taking the time today. And anybody else? And if not, I want to be mindful of everybody's time. I know everybody's busy and it's probably lunchtime. Everybody's probably hungry, thinking about lunch, right, Robin?
I'm very hungry.
That's right. So maybe it's lunchtime. So we'll wind down. So again, guys, thank you for spending time with us. I love doing this, and I know how precious your time is, so I never take that for granted. And please reach out. I'd love to address any questions that you might have. Evan, drop me a note. Stephanie, congratulations on a new. So Stephanie, Stephanie D, can you come off mute for a second? You just joined IMC this month, is that right?
Did, yeah.
Tell us what happened.
I mean, there's not really much of a story about it. I've worked collaboratively with them for a number of years, and there was an opening that came up, and I was looking to kind of level up my work with manufacturers. So it sounded like a great opportunity. Awesome.
Well, hey, how about a round of applause for Stephanie D on joining the MEP network? And I'll tell you what's awesome when you collaborate with the MEP. Kevin, you know this. We were in Chicago together at the MEP annual conference. I mean, there's just no folks that are better than the MEP. The passion, the drive, the experience that the MEP network brings to help manufacturers is just absolutely priceless. So Stephanie, welcome to the MEP world, and their MEP's lucky to have you, and you're blessed to be on their team. And so I'm excited to see where you go with this.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. So, okay, with that, Robin, if you want to take it away, I thank you, everybody. I hope to hear from you, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. This has been recorded, so I can send you the link once I get it down from the cloud. I can send it to you so you guys can review it at a slower pace as you need. And then, thank you so much, Curt, for doing this. It was great. I learned a lot too. Stephanie, I'm also new. I've been here a month, so
that's right. We got two new. So yeah, Robin, you're a month in, right?
Yeah. So I understand, but I love it. This has been the best month. I'm just having a great time. I love it. Manufacturers are wonderful, and I've met so many great people. Met Curt, and I love your podcast, Curt, too. Just so you know. I want to give a shout out to that as well. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well,
appreciate
thank you, everyone.
Guys, have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Bye. I think that. Okay.